Okay, so let's talk about habits. Whenever we're trying to make change, getting your habits right is the most important part and the most effective part and gives you the most chance of success. And to get on top of your habits, it's really important to understand how habits are formed and to have some tools and techniques in place to make your positive habits more likely to occur and your negative habits less likely to occur. So I'm going to talk you through some really cool information tonight. This is all taken from Atomic Habits, written by James Clear. It's one of my favourite books, and I highly recommend everybody to read that book. So I'm going to talk initially, or firstly, about the habit loop. This is just talking about how habits are formed in every situation. So this is the habit loop. Here there's the cue, the craving, the response, and the reward. So an easy, example to explain this is often we'll come home, we'll need to feel like we need to relax. We'll sit down on the couch, flick on the TV, and we'll veg out for an hour or a few hours. So that's a typical kind of habit that people have. So if we break that down into the habit loop, the cue is walking in the door from a hard day at work. The craving is you want to relax, you want to wind down. The response, click on the TV, and the reward is you're entertained and you zone out and you're relaxed. So this is the format here, and that's our body or our mind is doing that consistently all day, every day. And this is how habits are formed continuously throughout our lives. So just to break it down, the cue initiates the behavior. So that's walking in the door. That's what initiates this whole process. The craving, that's the motivational force. That's the thing that drives us to take action. And in this situation, the craving is to relax, to unwind. The response is the actual habit, so that's turning on the TV. And the reward is the end goal. That must satisfy the craving. So that end goal is that we are relaxed and we do unwind. And because that satisfies our craving, what our mind does then is it starts to associate the response with the cue. So it now, when we walk in the door, our mind thinks, turn the TV on. So we go cue, craving, response, reward. If that reward satisfies the craving, then we start to link the response with the cue. So then it's just mindless. We walk in, turn the TV on, and then that's just a habit, and that's something that will continue on. Now, moving on over here to the laws of behaviour change, I talked about at the start about having some good tools and strategies to try and make your positive habits more likely to occur and your negative habits less likely to occur. So let's talk about your positive habits first. So these 1, 2, 3, 4, they relate to 1, 2, and 3 and 4 in that the habit loop as well. So with the cue, if it's something that you're trying to encourage, a positive habit, we want to make it obvious. So in this example, let's use eating healthier snacks. So if I want to make eating healthier snacks obvious, I want to make them obvious in the fridge. When I open the fridge, that's what I see. I want to make it attractive. So my healthy snacks can't be something that I don't want to eat. I still have to spend some time in preparing them so that when I open the door, they're actually attractive. There's something that I want to eat. I want to make it easy. If I've got the ingredients in there, but it's going to take me half an hour to prepare it, that's not making it easy. That's an extra friction point, which is going to make it harder. So I want to make it something that's pre-prepared. I open the fridge, it looks good, I grab it, I take a bite, and I'm good. Making it satisfying. It has to be tasty. It has to be something that you actually enjoy, because again, if this doesn't satisfy the craving, if this reward doesn't satisfy the craving, then it won't be repeated. That habit loop isn't complete, and our body doesn't say repeat that. So we want to make sure that this is satisfying. And if for whatever reason there's you don't feel like even the healthy snacks you can make satisfying enough, you can do a little like a habit tracker. So have on your fridge a calendar that every time you make a healthy option, or if you throughout the day you're making those healthy options, you put a big green tick on that day, and that is an immediate satisfaction. It's satisfying to tick a box and to see that you are doing something that's going to help you become the person that you've set out to be. You're going to doing something that's taking you closer towards your goal. That's satisfaction in itself. Now, when we're talking about negative habits, we just invert those. We invert those rules. So the habit that we're trying to avoid, we make it invisible, we make it unattractive, we make it difficult, and we make it unsatisfying. So in this instance, let's talk about drinking beers. So let's say I'm limiting Monday through Friday, I'm not going to drink any beers. That's the habit that the negative habit that I'm trying to stop is drinking beers midweek. So I want to make it invisible. So I don't want my beer to be in my fridge, ready, nice and ice and cold, because that's going to make it really hard to avoid. So I'm going to put my beer in the back of the fridge, or I'm going to put it in the cupboard, or I'm going to put it somewhere else. I'm going to make it invisible so I can't see it. Make it unattractive. Now for me, to make drinking beer unattractive is pretty difficult. But with this, it's important to remind yourself of the person that you want to become, the person that you need to be to achieve the goals that you've set out to achieve. And for me, I've set boundaries around not having those beers midweek. And so the person that I'm trying to become doesn't have those beers. So by me going against those ideals, that's unattractive to me. And we can take it a little step further, and one of the lines in my affirmation is I am in control of my thoughts, my actions, and my successes. Now, a person that's in control of their thoughts, actions, and successes, if they've set boundaries around not having beers during the week, grabbing that beer, that person isn't in control of their thoughts, their actions, or their successes. So again, that's me. To me, that is unattractive, because I'm letting myself down. I'm letting the team down. It's unattractive to me, so it's going to make it a little bit harder. Number 3, make it difficult. So again, the more difficult you make it, the more friction points there are, the less likely it's going to happen. So instead of just putting it to the back of the fridge, I'm going to put it upstairs in my room. So if I go through all these things, if I know where it's hidden, I track it down, I read my affirmation, and I still decide, I still feel like a beer. I have to then walk upstairs, grab the beer, come back downstairs, put it in the freezer, wait for it to get cold, and all those friction points just make it that little bit harder for me to get to that point where I'm going to break that habit. So make it difficult. And make it unsatisfying. This is another challenging one as well. And this is a good way to do this is, I believe, is a habit tracker, like I mentioned before with the green tick, but do it in or inverted. So have that calendar on your fridge, and if you go through the day and you do not stick to that habit, so in this instance it's having a beer, I put a big red cross on that. And so, but I have to do it as soon as I grab that beer out of the fridge. It's an immediate bang, because that immediate feeling of disappointment that I haven't stuck to what I've told myself, that's unsatisfying to me. Again, to take that a little bit further, you can have an accountability partner. So that can be me. It can be another guy in the group. It can be the group as a whole. So commit before, when you're in a sort of good headspace and a positive headspace, before you're tempted to break that habit. Commit to every time you do it, you have to send me a message and let me know that you've done it, or you post on the Facebook group, let the other guys know that you've done it, or a message in the app, let us know that you've slipped up. And we do value the opinion of the people around us, so that's going to add that extra friction point, and it's going to make it pretty unsatisfying if you grab that beer and you have to admit to your peers, to your mates, that you haven't stuck to the things that you wanted to stick to. So I hope that's helped. I really encourage you to read the book Atomic Habits by James Clear. This is just touching over some of the really, really good information, but it's really just, if you get your head around this to start with, it's going to be really beneficial, and start to put those things into place. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. send me a message, send a question, put your comments below, whatever is right for you. And let's start to really change our habits and work towards our goals. Good on you guys. Talk soon.